Welcome to another episode of Scott Reads Comics. Today I'll be covering Marvel Team Up number 131 featuring Spider-Man and Frog-Man. Enter the White Rabbit. Again, as I said, this was published in 1983 by Marvel Comics. It's got a real soft spot. I have a real soft spot in my heart for this issue. I bought it off the rack as a kid, and it has a fantastic Paul Smith cover with really solid interiors by Kerry Gamil on the breakdowns and Mike Esposito on the finished art. It's written by J.M. DeMatteis. And it's just a fun story with a neat little twist that isn't all that surprising, but it's just really cool. I kind of like this quasi-splash page here where we kind of have it split into two panels, one much smaller and then a larger one. And the title is The Best Things in Life Are Free, but Everything Else Costs Money. Once upon a time in Manhattan. Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. We are the White Rabbit Gang, and we're here to rob this Quickie Burger. I trust no one has any objections. The rest of our team is Bob Sharon, colorist, Diana Albers, letterer, Tom DeFalco, editor, Jim Shooter, Easter Bunny. So a little funny joke there, poking fun. And this, of course, is the first appearance of the aforementioned White Rabbit. Totally great gimmick villain. She very much reminds me of a DC villain in the sense that she doesn't really have much going for her aside from a few gadgets like her umbrella and a few other things we're going to see. But she's got that psychotic wackiness that kind of gives her a weird edge. Resistance, how wonderful. Foosh. Ah. Be grateful, my irascible friend, that my razor-tipped carrot was not aimed at your heart. So, pretty incredible. And we're going to find out she has one of the best reasons for being a supervillain. I think really one of the only reasons for being a supervillain that makes much sense when you look at it with a real-world sensibility. We're also reintroduced to Eugene, who is the fabulous Frogman, or wants to be. Gene, where are you going? If those guys with guns see you, shut up, Jerome, and maybe they won't. Hey, Rabbit, there's some kid trying to sneak out through the bathroom. Apprehend the young rapscallion. So he's changing into his Frogman costume, which he had with him, which he inherited from his father, who we find in a reprise in this issue, was Leapfrog, a villain who has since done his time and is walking the straight and narrow. But Gene wants to follow in his father's footsteps, but redeem his reputation by becoming a superhero. Oh, terrific, I did it again. I had the controls for my leaping coils set all wrong. I better adjust the power pack before I break my neck. Look out, White Rabbit, the fabulous Frogman's bouncing back. Who is this lunatic? An intelligent question, my slope-browed compatriot, but one we've no time to answer. We have secured our ill-gotten gains, so let us away. She pumps some kind of gas from her umbrella. Can't see a thing, but somehow I just know this was a window. So they are referring to Marvel, these two refer to Marvel Team Up 125, where I guess Spider-Man and Tigra were teaming up in that issue, and they were involved in a fracas at the same Quickie Burger. Meanwhile, out on the street, Frogman is rather haphazardly taking on White Rabbit and her goons. Good grief, one just can't find decent hired help these days. Ah well, as Plato often said to Socrates, if you want anything done right, do it yourself. A flare! Everyone is blind for 30 seconds. And that's all the time it takes for the White Rabbit to hop into her waiting van and beat a hasty retreat. As for the fabulous Frogman, I haven't felt this bad since that time I tried to squeeze into a pair of size 32 pants. There's a lot of weight jokes for poor Eugene in this issue, which is a little sad, but he's game and he's trying. This guy's about to blow his head off, though, when our main character arrives, Spider-Man. Oh yes, it's time the ever-smiling, wall-crawling, web-spinning, and thoroughly amazing Spider-Man comes to the rescue. Spider-Man, before you start gushing with me thanks, Tadpole, let me polish off the rest of these trigger-happy turkeys. A bit of webbing, properly placed, a flick of the wrist, and I've got this thing all sewn up, so to speak. Great use of the open panel here in this corner page by Gamel and Esposito to really show the action. As Spider-Man whips this lone, trussed up individual around in a crazy circle, trussing up his friends as well, showing off that spider strength. So Spider-Man chastises Eugene about trying to be Frogman. We get a nice, like I said, a reprise of Leapfrog's career all the way back, Daredevil number 25. Daredevil's around when this came out is in the 200s, early 200s. So this was a long time ago that Leapfrog was around. And then not that long ago, in Marvel Team Up 121, where Spider-Man and the Human Torch took on Speed Demon, that's when Frogman initially debuted. That would be a great issue to track down. I did not have that issue as a kid. I started regularly buying Team Up probably around 125 or so. So Spider-Man advises Eugene to no longer be Frogman, but we know that from the title, of course, and from our cover, he's not going to listen to Peter Parker's advice. Of course, Spider-Man has his own problems, as do his friends. So his friend Roger is dealing with some really tough money issues. He explains to Peter that his mom needed some hip surgery, so they are in some terrible medical debt, and Pete vows to help him. Help him out? How am I going to help him out? I've got a million problems of my own crashing in on me, financial and otherwise. Face it, Webbs. You've been down the same road with Aunt May. You know exactly what Raj is going through. Wait a minute. There's a hefty reward out for the White Rabbit. I mopped up her goons without working up a sweat this morning, so why not finish the job? Parker, sometimes you're so brilliant, you even astonish yourself. Meanwhile, Frogman, Eugene, gets home. His dad barges into his room, sees him with the costume. Are you out of your mind? I told you 1,000 times never to wear that suit again, and you did it anyway. You could have been killed. Oh, geez, I'm sorry, Dad, really. It's just that I want to make you proud of me, and well, you know how I am. I get carried away with things. I'm the one who should be sorry, Gene. Me and my wild Italian temper. It must be the pressure. The bills are piling up, and I'm stuck in a nowhere job. I thank God your mother's not alive to see us like this. It'll get better, Dad, and in the meantime, I can get a part-time job. No, you're going to use your free time to study, so you can go to college and make something of yourself. You're not going to end up like me, you hear? So, we have two sets of characters, each with money issues, and of course, Eugene Leapfrog Frogman comes to the same conclusion that Spider-Man did. I'll just bag the White Rabbit and collect the reward, and our money problems are solved. But meanwhile, Eugene's dad contacts this shady customer. Is he going to get some criminal work? Is he going to go off parole? And we'll see. And really great here, the White Rabbit's hideout. One secret single, and ta-da! This is the place, Vin. Care to join me? Join you where? Down the rabbit hole. Where else? Ah, my dear Mr. Patillo. So glad you could drop in. I trust the air jets have made for a comfortable landing. But enough idle chit-chat. I know of your reputation, and I hear you are indeed in need of employment. I, on the other hand, am in need of employees. Well, you've got one, providing that the pay is acceptable. The pay, Mr. Patillo, is extraordinary, but I'm sure the ever-groveling Mr. Face informed you about that. You see, money means nothing to me. What I crave is excitement. So what she describes here in this page is essentially her origin. She was a young rich dilettante who married a much older, much richer man. And after he passed away, she got his fortune, and she was bored, essentially, and crazy. And so developed this criminal alter ego to fill up her days with something to do for the lack of, I guess, maybe she didn't want to waste her time endowing university buildings or anything like that. So she is a supervillain for the kicks. Pretty great. And of course, Eugene's dad, Mr. Tillo, is seemingly joining her gang. So we're in for a collision course here of characters as we move forward. And once again, Spider-Man encounters Frogman in a heap of trouble. Stop all the stinking honking, will ya? You're getting me all confused. Oh no, that truck. Thanks, Spider-Man, but I know, you could have handled it. For crying out loud, kid. When are you going to learn? You're just not cut out for this line of work. If you'd only let me explain. So you gotta see, I've just gotta find the White Rabbit and collect that reward. Leave the crook catching to the professionals, will you, Eugene? Please, let me come with you. No way. I've got enough guilt in my life without your death on my conscience. Death? What are you talking about? Do you know what terrific shape I'm in? Why, I've even got a membership at the YMCA. Eugene, will you just forget the whole... Hold it, that van down there. The way it's got my spider sense tingling. You know, that looks an awful lot like the one the White Rabbit took off in this afternoon. But the name on the side is different. So it's Mad Hatter's Chapeau Shop. So pretty great. J.M. DeMatteis, great writer. He really has a sense of humor here. Unlike his long-term run on Defenders, which was very heavy, morose at times, steeped in the supernatural, his work on this title was much lighter and I would say more enjoyable overall. So, of course, the White Rabbit is going to try to motivate Eugene's dad to get out there and do some criming. We'll pause for just a second to look at this amazing subscription ad. I often wondered who drew this Wolverine. I don't know if it's Marie Severin. She did a lot of the subscription ads. It could be her. It's just hard to say. Could be Bob Budiansky. Any number of bullpenners might have done this, but it's a really great Wolverine. It's just awesome. And this one always really stuck with me. And of course, come on, 42 cents a copy. I never did a mail subscription because I heard that your comics got folded in half and I was not in for that. But these ads, I always love them and I would love to see a collection of them. Back to our story. So Spider-Man once again pulling Frogman from a hail of gunfire. What seems to be the problem, Mr. Patillo? No stomach for blood? Look, why don't we just get out of here and live to steal another day? Why do we have to get involved with murder? Why? Because it's fun. Now get out there and start shooting. This is where you get off, Eugene. Adios. Oh, no, you don't. You don't just get to toss fabulous Frogman away like yesterday's donut box. If you think I'm going to let you have all the fun and all the reward money, you've got another thing coming. Dad? Eugene? So, of course, father and son meet in a very sticky situation. Meanwhile, not far away, a half block north and several stories above the mayhem. Now, Roger, dear, you mustn't come running here to see me every day. Just because you're the only ray of sunshine in my dark and dreary existence is no reason to think I can't get along without you. Oh, Mama, you know, there's nowhere I'd rather be than right here. So, but he notices what's going on outside. There's a full-on superhero fracas going down. You know, I got into this line of work because I thought it beats sitting behind a desk all day. But yawn, after waltzing around with you turkeys, shuffling papers for a living sounds downright exciting. Where did my froggy friend bounce off to? Listen to me, Gene. Grab hold of Spider-Man and get out of here. But Dad, how can I run off knowing that you've returned to a life of crime? Will you trust me, son, and go? Ooh, by the looks of things, my crew has blown it again, which means it's time to get hopping. So here we're going to see her unveil another one of her cool gadgets. She's got jet boots, kind of similar to what the Boomerang character has used for years in the comics. So my guess, and it's not revealed in here, is she bought this stuff from the Tinkerer, who is the armorer for the underworld and wannabe super criminals. Really great that Marvel had developed all these supporting characters. Dr. Carl Malice is another one. He was the one behind the Power Brokers treatment that gave so many characters superhuman strength. So she has another gadget, of course, in her boots, and she's going to try to get away. And of course, Frogman is going to go after her. And we see what looks maybe like Eugene's dad being pinched by the police, by NYPD. Stop in the name of truth, justice, and oh geez, I forgot the third one. What do you say? You want to give up? Actually, I thought this would be the ideal moment to kill you. Really great. I love the White Rabbit. Some kind of mini cannon in her umbrella. I gotta leap just right or I'm done for. I did it. I think I'm really getting the hang of this. Hey, looks like the rabbit's boot thingies are malfunctioning. Oh no! So we have them both saying at the same time. This is gonna hurt. And amazingly, as if fate has intervened, crash! Well, well, I'm a bit dazed, a trifle bruised, but I do believe that if I can just scamper out that door, I'll be bonk. Roger, what have you done? I'm not sure, Mama. Well, I am. You just earned yourself a big fat reward for the capture of the White Rabbit. I did? That you did, son, but I'm afraid you'll have to split it. Patillo here earned his share. What? That's what I was trying to tell you, Eugene, Frogman. Joe Face called me a while back about joining up with the Rabbit's gang, but I turned him down. And then, for safe measure, I called the cops. They wanted me to go undercover for him, but I've had enough trouble in my life without inviting more. But then I got to thinking about how much my family could use the reward money. Well, you see, I was wired. They were monitoring me the whole time. You mean you're a hero? Yeah, I guess maybe I am. Oh, geez, Dad, you're the greatest. Well, Spider-Man, it sure looks like Spider-Man. So there's one lone thug who was trying to escape, and of course, Spider-Man tracks him down. Are you going to come along quietly? Do I have a choice? Oh, great D&D ad here. So it wraps up at the end, and this is a sweet page. I think I'm going to read the whole thing because it's just so cool. Times Square, 3 days later. I can't believe it, Peter. Even with splitting the reward, there's still enough to pay for Mama's operation and get ahead on the bills. And buy presents for Mama and Mia and you and... Gosh, I don't think I've ever been this happy. Well, it just goes to show you, Raj. Sometimes life's problems have a way of getting worked out all by themselves. Something the matter, Peter? Far from it. I just saw a couple of old friends in that restaurant. Why don't you go in and say hello? To tell you the truth, I don't think they'd recognize me. Huh? To my boy Eugene, the greatest son a father ever had. You know, Dad, with all that reward and all, I think things are going to really start changing for us. It's onward and upward from here. I don't really care about the money, son, as long as we've got each other. Then, here's to us, and to the fabulous Frogman. Really great. Next issue, Spider-Man and Mr. Fantastic in The Common Denominator. And as I recall, that one also has a fantastic Paul Smith cover, too, with an all-white background, whereas this one had a nice all-black background. So very interesting couple of months here in Marvel team-up covers. But what a fabulous one-off Spider-Man story. Just brilliantly executed. It's got a fun twist. Not, like I said, a completely unpredictable twist, but a twist nonetheless. And just great action with a quirky supervillain who I think has been used quite a bit in the post-2000 era, though I don't read, like I said, many modern comics, so I'm not sure exactly how well she's been used. And I don't know how many appearances she had between this sort of Copper Age 1983 appearance, her first appearance, and when she started to be used more in the modern era. But A great issue, a fun issue, one of those seminal issues in my comic reading life. Loved it and still do. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, please like and subscribe. Tell your friends, and I'll bring you more soon on Scott Reads Comics. Thanks for watching.